right in to game number 1. Go4Heroes America's monthly quarterfinals. Fraud Esports, I believe, has first pick.
Yes, indeed. And they went for the Jaina ban, of course, a very solid hero. She's been seeing so much play recently, and then Believe the Hype following up with the next best hero ban or pick, which is Sylvanas. I mean, her passive Black Arrow just allows for so much pushing, and on the Haunted Mines, I mean, that you can turn a weak golem into the strongest golem ever.
Yeah, when you can't fight back, it doesn't really matter how strong your opponent is. If he's still whamming on you, then you're going to be in a world of hurt. So absolutely, for sure. Jaina being as a band, as you said, she's played a lot, but not a surprise. First pick's going to be Vala then, Demon Hunter, going the way of Fraud Esports, because if you wield a crossbow or you have a staff, it seems that you're the girl to take to dinner, because everybody wants just a piece of her.
Of course. And then Believe the Hype, going with the Lost Vikings. I'm a little bit interested on the Haunted Mines. You don't really get that multiple lane soak with them, and I feel you're always going to have them grouped, so that is nice, but it's a little bit weird because you mostly see the Vikings on bigger maps because of that experience gain that they can get and just put you ahead. So a little bit interested to see how the Lost Vikings play on such a small map. And then as well as the Vikings, they picked up Uther, Divine Shield, the Longboat Raid, or Divine Storm. I mean, Uther is a solid pick for Believe the Hype.
And, I'm just looking at the Toronto, the Mirrodin now to go for Fraud Esports. That's not a typical tank choice these days. I mean, we see a lot of ETC, we see a lot of Diablo, but a Mirrodin, I'm kind of curious if this is going to be a lot more of a team fight lockdown oriented, because with the Toronto, of course, the Lunar Blaze, we also got the Hunter's Mark, but now, with the stuns and the slows, and I have to assume it's going to be an avatar there. I mean, the Mirrodin, he's not a terrible tank, but when it comes to these smaller maps, I'm curious to see how much more CC we're going to go the way of Fraud Esports.
It almost seems like a replacement Kerrigan combo with the Mirrodin stun followed by the Tehran stun, and then getting the Hunter's Mark. So it's kind of a makeshift Kerrigan without actually having to go Kerrigan, I guess. But
could they actually add like a Kerrigan?
They probably could, and I think that would be a pretty solid choice. I mean, Kerrigan is really strong on the Haunted Mines. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad choice for Fraud Esports to follow up with, but that is a lot of front line as well then, so don't know how it'll work out in their favor.
All right, so flip side, Zagara going to be the next pickup here. The Brood Mother coming out strong, big push potential. I'm going to put the big D there on the front lines to go with that Uther in the back for the heals. So they are really shaping up, but they banned out the Sylvanas and they took the Vikings. They took Zagara. This is a big, heavy push comp, I want to say, from Believe.
Yeah, and it's scary too. I mean, Diablo charging in, flipping you, followed with an Uther stun and all that damage coming in from Believe the Hype. I'd be a little bit scared for Fraud Esports. I mean, it's a scary front line coming at you, and it is a very strong pushing comp. And if you overstep, you're going to be in a world of hurt.
Well, that's why Fraud Esports is going to take the mainstay heals of one of the brothers of Storm Rage. It is going to be Malfurion, and they're really thinking about this last pick. But if the only target that's presented is the Mirrodin, and the Mirrodin later on, he's going to get defensive talents, he's going to get Third Wind or Stone Form later on, just really pimp out that healing. And now we got burst heal from the Tyrande, and now we got heal over time from the Malfurion. If he's the only target that this stun combo can do, he's definitely feels like he's going to be the guy surviving that and defeating that kind of power.
For sure. I mean, so many heals. And of course, Malfurion's just going to be able to ice block out of anything if they try and target him. So definitely limits the number of targets that they can go for. Mirrodin definitely being the one that Fraud Esports wants Believe the Hype to attack. And following up with that Malfurion, you have Sergeant Hammer.
Oh.
Interesting.
Oh, all right.
Interesting. I mean, looking at the damage, I guess that I would have kind of liked to see a Kerrigan, in all honesty, with roots from Malfurion, the Stormbolt from Mirrodin, the stun from Tyrande, and then having the Kerrigan stuns as well. I feel like they could have just gone for a CC train, but instead chose to go for Hammer.
Just realized I left Cursed Hollow as the map selection up for the longest time. It's actually Haunted Mines, guys. Yep.
Haha, trickery.
Chat did not pick up, so to speak. So shame on them. But no, that's definitely not a pick I would have said. I would have definitely gone a little bit more burst because I mean we had the Val in the back, right? You got that sustained DPS, but could we see Bullet Bill? I wonder. Could we see the Orbital? Like you'd need that extra little bit of burst, I feel. But I don't know. Who was the last pickup here from Believe?
Believe the Hype is going for that Wombo combo, picking up the Zeratul. Wow. I mean, you basically have a double Void Prism with Zagara's Ravenous Maw, or Titanous Maw, I forget the exact name of it. And then you got Void Prism from Zeratul, followed up with a Diablo APOC, possibly?
Yep.
That's a lot of Wombo combo, and if they pull it off, they can really do a lot of hurt.
You could, but it's also very easy to screw up.
Yes.
You throw. I mean, that's a 3-set Wombo combo right there. Let's say they do grab 2-3 people out of it. It's very easy to mix up the chain. It's really easy to have some CC thrown into that, and it breaks the chain. It's finicky. I mean, we've seen a lot of Wombos in the past. Tyrael into Falstead. We've seen Diablo into Void Prisons, into Devouring Maws, into Goblins. Oh my, with Gazlo, right? It's great on paper, but you have to really believe in yourselves if you're going to be trying to pull off this 3-step combo. But either way, I mean, that is still only a 1 assassin team here from Believe the Hype, and he's melee. That's Zeratul. If Zeratul gets anywhere near Muradin, and he gets anywhere near that Lunar Blaze, Roots coming out, he's not going to be a happy camper.
No, he is going to get destroyed, and very quickly. And one thing to note also, there is a little bit of time that you can proc a Vault or a Bolt of the Storm or Ice Block when Void Prism or Ravenous Maw drops. So I've seen in the past where they'll get a really nice Void Prism combo set up for the Diablo Apocalypse, and Malfurion just pops Tranquility and hits Ice Block and negates everything while also keeping his team alive. So it's one thing to look out for coming out of that Wombo combo if Fraud Esports will be able to get that off to counter it.
Yeah. All right. So if you'd like to tell them that we are ready to go, sir, I see that the lobby is now basically in its final throws. Game number 1 of the quarterfinals today, guys. Fraud Esports and Believe the Hype, some of the highest placing teams in this month's Go4Heroes Americas, hosted out by ESL. It's it's gonna be a good day. We got the top 8 here, and it's only one can, I think, go home with the lion's share of that $500 prize pool. Second place actually might pick up a little bit of cheddar, but it really does come down to putting your best foot forward. There we go. Looks like the countdown has begun, and we are going to be getting this one rolling, ladies and gentlemen. So, Haunted Mines, first map. Please come back to me, game capture. You are kidding me.
Oh no. It has faded. Absorbed into the storm that is Heroes.
Right, so there's a black screen on my screen, and yeah, I don't know what it's from.
Something's open. Maybe it needs to be lowered in the
I did like 8 hours of testing on this bloody thing yesterday. And
but always whenever it needs to work.
The first game. All right. Oh, there it is.
Oh, it's just a loading screen?
Nope, that's not it at all.
Ah.
All right, so we're going to go overlayless. We're going to disable music because that's how we roll. And I'm going to have to fix it after this game because life sucks. Great. Awesome. Mr. J, please tell us who do we have here today in the Go4Heroes?
Alrighty, in the blue trunks on the blue side, we have Fraud Esports, we have Bellamorte on that Sergeant Hammer, Lex Uther on the Malfurion, that's not confusing at all, Anxiety Lull on the Vala, Hugin, Howin, thank you very much, on that Tyrande, and Keepers on the Muradin.
Yeah, Keeper's going to be playing that tank role. I definitely like him on that tank role. He has a good home there.
Yeah, for sure. And on the red side, we have Believe the Hype. We have Kex on Zeratul, Mudslide on Diablo, Delta Cloud on that Uther, Eru on Zagara, and Jumping Duck on the Lost Vikings.
Now, you're saying that maybe not a team name that you're more familiar with, but Jumping Duck has really grown on me as a player. And him taking these Vikings, we didn't really say this back at the draft as we see this big push coming down into this bottom lane. But this is, I think, 100% a Viking steal from Keepers and Crew, because Bella Morte's a really renowned Vikings player. That you can see, I mean, he went from Vikings to Sergeant Hammer. So, you know, I really do think that is a bit of a deny. I don't know how well he'll do with him, but, you know, Believe the Hype has definitely been a team that has grown on him.
For sure, and they're really showing, I mean, this is a really nice race right now. You've got both teams splitting up 4 and 4, going for the turrets in their golem lane to try and let that golem get further along. And they're both relatively even. I mean, the well is going down right now for Believe the Hype, and only the wall was taken at bot lane, so not too much has really happened. It's relatively even on both sides.
Yeah, there goes one of the Vikings, though. Got caught out just a little bit too far forward, but, I mean, it's only a quarter of a kill. It's not really that bad as of yet, so... mines will be opening up. I thought perhaps, you know, we're going to go down through the top there from Fraud Esports, but it is just not meant to be. It looks like they're actually going to come swing down for perhaps a bit of a gank. I don't really know which way they're going to play this.
Yeah, one thing they need to be careful of is the Zagara creep tumors. I mean, the vision that Zagara provides is so nice that she can place them. Right now, they're not placed too well spread, but she can usually place them everywhere, and she'll be able to see just the entire map. So that's one thing that'll be interesting to see later in the game, how Eru spreads the creep tumors out.
Well, the creep tumor is one of the only tools in the game to give you that vision. It's definitely very useful in terms of information control. On the flip side, we also have owls from Tyrande, so we do actually have quite a bit of control afforded to them. It looks like we're abandoning mines, and this is actually something we did last night in Quick Match. We came up against a team and we're just like, all right, well, we don't have a good angle here into the mines. The first golem is not really that scary. He's really not. So we actually pushed down Fort, and this Fort has already taken damage up there. If you take down a Fort and you defend even against a 75 skull golem, you still come out ahead.
Sure, and right now, Anxiety Lull trying to close in the gap on Uther. Nice stun, and Roots goes down on 2 members of Believe the Hype. Very well played by Fraud Esports. They're trying to kill Mudslide. He's running away with that Diablo, and he will eventually get pushed into the wall and killed. Very well done by Fraud Esports, getting a nice little kill and securing the rest of the mines, but the skull count is rather even for both teams, and a very nice pickup there on the Zeratul.
Yeah, now remember, it's really early on. We don't have the biggest of death timers right now, and you can see we're still kind of posturing down here. How Win is just chasing them back. Get out of here. Yeah, he's just saying this be our mines. And, you know, despite that, you know, it's going to be a 52 to 48 skull golem. It's relatively even. We don't have a kill yet here from Believe the Hype, but they have been soaking. So despite the fact that, you know, they're down in the kills, they should be down in experience. The Vikings have done a really good job of just keeping up in this top lane and keeping the team afloat. So we are relatively even, and the golems are going to end up relatively even.
Yeah, the soaking from the Lost Vikings really showing their power there. I mean, Fraud Esports went into the mines ahead and came out, and it was pretty much even, but as I say that, they get a nice pickup on Zeratul. That stun, I mean, they're doing a really good job of making sure Zeratul doesn't get a chance to bolt away, and they've now reached level 7 before Believe the Hype has.
So, did Zeratul die top? He had to have died in the top.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it was for, at Knights, I actually missed where he died exactly how,
so
but it was
just
somewhere
like,
at the top.
What happened here? Either way, he was dead. He's back, as you said. The death timers aren't really the end-all here. But level 7 is a pretty big deal. And oh, wow, those roots were just beautiful. Baylog and Eric are going to take a little bit of a dirt nap, and now Mudslide looking to join in there as well. Pushing with the golem, I find, is always almost more favorable in every situation than defending it. You know, with such even golems this round, I really do think Believe the Hype got the raw end of the deal by deciding to defend against it, because you see Zagara now dying there as well. There goes that entire fort complex, and we didn't even bring this golem down to half.
Yeah, the wombo combo for Believe the Hype is really going to come into play here. Very nice flip onto Keepers, but he will just jump out of there. I mean, the stun combo coming out of Fraud Esports is so powerful. They can set it up for the roots from the Golem or even the Slam, but there's 3 different types of snares from Fraud Esports, and they're doing a really good job of really chaining them together.
Yeah, chaining them together very, very well, it seems. So 6 kills. Well, a bunch of Vikings. So like, I don't know, 9 kills or so. But so far, as we said, 9-7. Now, on the back of that Golem, we are going to be looking at those heroics in fairly short order. And let's take a quick look at some of the talents. Anything huge going on here? We do got Searing Attacks at 7 there for our Valid. Other than that, it seems to be multi-shot. Reverberation for the attack speed slow. Thunderburn. Wow, Thunderburn. I'm a little surprised about that one. But the zone of burning, so to speak. And Piercing Bolt coming out there for Keepers. I mean, I expected the Piercing Bolt. I wouldn't have expected Thunderburn, though.
Yeah, the Slam talent really a little bit awkward, but it's pretty nice, especially stacking on with the Reverberation. Just since the Lost Vikings are such an auto attack base hero, slowing down their auto attack speed is always really nice. And I mean, it helps. You can also just push a little bit better, get 2 waves of that going down, so it's pretty nice.
There doesn't seem to be much that the team can do here from Believe the Hype. They are just kind of letting Bella Morte have his way there with this fort. We got the Stone Bros there in the back, and the front line is just basically impenetrable at this point. We do have heroics for Fraud Esports, and that is a big reason why we're not seeing any kind of big engages. Jumping Duck is going to jump to safety. Gets stunned by the end of it all, but we still don't have heroics for Believe the Hype. And, you know, the Vikings are doing the best they can. They're pushing out that top. They're soaking, although that might be their end as we do see this rotation come through.
Yeah, they're going to have to try and run away as quickly as they can, but Fraud Esports is very quickly closing the gap. Looks like Baylog didn't really get into the mines quick enough. They will be able to sprint away and live another day, but they have to be a little bit careful, Believe the Hype, because they are not level 10 yet, although as I say that, they get a very nice kill on the Sergeant Hammer, giving them level 10. The ultimate goes down. They take out Zeratul. Divine Storm, very well placed by Delta Cloud, but it shortly is their demise as Vala strafes it up and kills 2 members, and now Diablo is on the retreat, and the mines are still open, but the Vikings are doing a really good job of splitting up and trying to get as many skulls as they can for that 3-for-1 exchange.
3-for-1 is well, I mean, we finally got 1. We put a kill on the board. Believe the Hype, you know, they're saying that we can do this. Unfortunately, it just was not a trade in their favor at all. And even the worst part about that is that Malfurion wasn't even there for like half that fight. He just came in at the end with that tranquility. Was able to make sure nobody else went down. But yeah, all right, there goes Eric. That's fine. Looks like Lex Luthor is going to be a big target here from Mudslide. But the rest of his team is collapsing nicely, and now Mudslide's going to take a little bit of a break in Respawn Town as he is about to drop. Doesn't have the souls at all. 18 skulls. The Vikings were able to secure 18 skulls. Not exactly an overwhelming figure. I think they are going to opt to defend again, though.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to. I mean, this skull is going to be 82, or yeah, 82. And that's a very powerful golem, especially when the wall is already down in front of your keep. All that stands is a turret, and then that's going straight for the keep. So they Believe the Hype is definitely going to have to try and do something. Fraud Esports is almost level 13 as well, which is a scary talent. It's not a scary 16, but being a talent up anyways is just a huge threat for Believe the Hype. So they'll have to be very careful and play this out very carefully. But the CC train that Fraud Esports has been laying down, I don't really think they have too much they can hope for.
Too much, yeah, not too much that they can do here. Jumping Duck, however, is going to jump into that longboat, but wow, does it ever get bursted down very, very quickly. Here goes that Wombo, hits Howlwind, hits Bella Morte. They're keeping him there. There's the Divine Storm as well. Mudslide now just trying to keep them all down, but the Tranquility is taken away. How Nguyen with the extra bursting heals is just doing work. Mudslide is going to drop. There goes Delta Cloud there as well, and some of the Vikings have already bit the bullet. And that, I believe, my friend, is a team-wide ace. All 3 Vikings looking pretty suave in their ghost form, but not a kill. Not a single kill, Mr. J.
Yo, that's exactly what I was thinking earlier. If Lex Luthor can just pop the Tranquility and survive just a little bit, then they'd be able to negate the entire combo. And in fact, they were able to, and they are definitely going to secure the first game. Game 1 going to Fraud Esports.
Fraud hype, Fraud Esports hype. Doing some good work there, boys. Definitely a very solid game from them. And yeah, we're going to go back to the screen because that is definitely not the screen it should be. It should be the victory screen for Fraud Esports.
It was a really good game by Fraud Esports. They were able to counteract the entire Wombo combo and just pick apart the team of Believe the Hype with their own CC combo coming out from Muradin, Tyrande, and Malfurion. Just a really nice united play.
Well, I mean, as I said, it's the triple step Wombo. I mean, they even threw Uther into that. It was a quad step Wombo. Like, if they could have kept all of the team busy and locked up, sure, they probably would have done much better. But it very rarely happened. It kind of came together there at the end. Even then, it was a little bit staggered, but they had lost so many levels. It just didn't really matter. And, you know, Haunted Minds, game number 1 is going to go the way of Fraud Esports.